Hello, I'm in Tartosa this time, which is my first build video here, but it also might be one of my first builds here that I actually like enough to share. I definitely tried to build in this world before, but nothing really came of it. This is like, I feel like this is the first time. And I did have a reference picture for this shape. It's what kind of inspired me to start building this. I'll pull that up now just so that you could kind of see, because it's gonna go fast. This one's also only like 11 minutes long. These videos have been short recently. So yeah, let me pull that up right now. Here it is. It feels very beachy. I liked the shape of it. It seemed very simple, which is why I kind of decided to do this. It was while I was watching Siren Witch's shell tours, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna build because I'm feeling inspired seeing all these beautiful shell entries. And I didn't even realize until after that this is technically a 3D kids puzzle. I don't know. I've never seen something like that before. But yeah, I had to improvise the back of the house just because there is no back in the picture, and I know that it's probably just flat. I decided to try and make it a little bit more interesting and also make it a little bit bigger so that more like room for the interior, because in my head I was going to do the interior of this because I felt like very, I don't know, I felt inspired by having like a very beachy interior that is like very light toned wood and like blues. I don't know if there's a lot of blues in the build, but um a lot of the exterior is a pale blue. My reshade kind of takes away the color a little bit, but I like building with it and I like taking pictures of it. Um, I didn't know which big tree I wanted to place on the side. I do go back to the other one. I don't know why I thought so hard on it. It was depending on what color I wanted, and I felt like this one kind of blends in with like the tones really well, but I do switch it back to the more yellowy one just because I felt like it gave like a pop of color that I think was needed for this because it's so just like, I don't know, muted, I guess. There's not a lot of bold colors, which I do really, really like. But yeah, so it's just a little pop of color outside. And I didn't do too much with the landscaping or anything. I made a little path up. It's on another diagonal because I like it better just like to look at, but it does make it a little bit harder to furnish. But this one, I felt like I was getting the hang of diagonal builds because this is my third one I've done in the last week or so. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It ends up being 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom with like that upstairs space that could be another bedroom if you wanted it to be. So this isn't a starter, I don't think. I'd be surprised if it was, but yeah, maybe I'll go and check. Let me see how much this is, because if it's a starter, I'm gonna be surprised. I went and I checked to see if it was a starter. It's not, but it is pretty cheap. It is just under 30,000 without the lot value. So that's pretty good. That's like cheaper than I expected anyway. But yeah, I guess it's like close to starter. Maybe if you have like a family of like 4 or 5, maybe that's around the starter funds. I feel like I've seen some starter funds that are like 28,000, because I believe you start with like 20,000, right? And then you get 2,000 per family member added. But yeah, it's not exactly a starter, but it could be if that's like what you're looking for. You could definitely delete some items or make some swaps to some cheaper things. But yeah, it wasn't in my head to make this a starter. I was just curious because I've made like a lot of starters recently. One was accidental, so I wanted to check and see if this one was accidental. But no, it's close though. And I didn't really know like what I wanted to add to the exterior, and I felt like doing just a bunch of like distress marks on it, cracks and stuff to add some detail because I was thinking back to my Twitch stream like the other week when I was doing a ranch build in Strangerville, and Anna Sims Builds was like, "Oh, you could, if you want more details, you could just add some wall marks." I was like, "Yeah, that's true." So like I love how that build came out because of the wall marks. Because sometimes you'll like build something and the detail just isn't fully there and you don't really know what else to add. And that's kind of where I was with this. And so I was like, oh, I can just put cracks and make it look more worn down. Because the wood itself is already a little weathered, but just like the little marks really makes it pop, I think, and makes it look more interesting because before that it was just like some boxes and some wallpaper and some columns but now it feels like a whole like worn down build that's been standing here for a long time. But yeah, the house, the floor plan, I struggled to figure out what I wanted to do with it right away because I just like didn't know where I wanted the kitchen. I thought I was gonna have a whole nother dining room, but I decided to not do a dining room so I could fit in more bedrooms. But once I kind of figured out where I wanted the bathroom and the kitchen to go, the rest of the floor plan kind of just came together because I was like, oh, bedroom, bedroom, living room. So if you're ever struggling with a floor plan, I think that like finding where you want the kitchen and a bathroom is like a good basis of like starting to like figure out where you want where you want the rest of the house to go. So that's kind of what did it for me in this one. And I had to use a bunch of diagonal walls because the house is on a diagonal and you can't really connect square rooms to each other very easily. And I struggled with the kitchen layout a little bit. I was trying to give it more counter space, but it just didn't end up that way. And I moved the fridge onto the other wall. I don't know if this table is functional. Um, that's a mystery. I'm not sure. It has a very similar interior to my pond build that I just posted recently last week. Yeah, so I used the same cabinets, the same counters together because I really liked it and I felt like it had a similar vibe to that. Um, so I just redid it because it's, I don't know, it felt refreshing, it felt nice, and it fit the build really well. I did struggle picking out some wallpapers. I posted a video on like Thursday, I think, or Friday. I'm not sure which one yet. And I mentioned that wallpapers and interiors have been really hard for me, and a way that I've gotten kind of like through that is by taking exterior walls and creating accent walls first, and then picking out stuff that goes with those. So it's been way easier. So I like had I think I used every single exterior wall as accent walls, and then I brought in the floral wallpaper. And I don't know what I used in the kitchen. Maybe the kitchen is the floral. Yeah, it is. So I just did floral everywhere else. So I've used like 5 wallpapers throughout the entire house pretty much. Um, I made a big like reading area over here using the Book Nook kit that I almost didn't even get right away, because I felt like it looked too modern for what I like to do. And then I had kind of seen that you have different pieces that have less books and stuff in it and like different book colors, and so I was sold. I used a lot of the clutter from that because I had already filtered it. So I started pulling out lots of little decor items from there. And they are really cute items. I think they go really well in this build. I used the couch from that in this too. It's a really pretty couch. And I feel like it's like normally doesn't really fit into the build style that I'm normally going for with my builds, but this one felt a little bit more like contemporary, so it made sense. I do some rug layering because I kind of didn't know what to do anymore. And this build isn't super cluttered because cluttering is very tiring, both doing it and also editing it, because there's a lot of scrolling that I have to edit out. So I've been trying to except being a little bit more comfortable with posting builds that have very like basic decorations inside. I don't go all out with the clutter. I do love clutter. I love seeing people have builds with like clutter on every surface. And I think that if this was a month ago, I would have forced myself to clutter everything, including those like bay windows, which are a pain to clutter. You have to like raise all the items from the exterior, and the lighting gets a little bit weird. So I've been enjoying just like relaxing, and these shorter videos have been like really refreshing. This is my third voiceover in a row I've done. So the two videos from last week I did right before this, but I edited this one too. Like, was it this morning? Did I? Yeah, I edited this morning. So I've just been on, like, I've been feeling very energized because of how, like, short these videos are. And it's been nice because it's been tiring with like 20 to 30-minute long builds. They're beautiful and I'm really proud of them. But doing this right after is just like, I think it's a little pick me up that I need it, because I feel like I'm finally getting back ahead of my schedule and like feeling less like stressed about everything in general. So it's been really nice, and I'm pretty sure the video is about to end. I think I just put like a curtain because I didn't know what to do with this wall. So I just did a mirror and a curtain. But yeah, oh, I'm sorry for the weird camera movement. I might edit that out. But all I really do is place some um lighting around in different parts of the house, because I realized that it was all just the standard lights. Yeah, the upstairs I just put some miscellaneous hobby objects in that can easily be deleted out. I think maybe if you delete all these items, it would be a starter home. So that's cool. That would probably make it a starter home. But yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, thank you. Bye.